Welcome to another episode of Learn from People Who Lived It.
We rolling. Welcome to Monday. It is June 6th. I am excited that you are here. There will not be a new podcast today. I'm sure you guys saw the postings last week, but Series 2 just wrapped up last week with Austin. So we take about a 3-week break just to give, me, a little time to breathe and get, some new and fresh stories up and running and going. And that's what we're doing right now. And so Series 3 will come out a couple of weeks into June, and I promise you want to be back for this one. Carrie, Rick, Chelsea, Sam will kick things off. Just unbelievable tales, guys. People have overcome incredible things, and as is said so many times on our podcast, bad days don't turn into bad lives. Horrible experiences don't turn into horrible lives. Getting control of your story in a way that serves you and the people around you fully should be the only thing that you wake up in the morning and think about. And I'm not joking about that. The only thing I want you to be concerned about moving forward is, how do you feel? How are you doing in your space? Are you good? Are you getting your needs met? Because I will tell you that the reason I started doing this work was because once I unlocked that inner child piece on that thing that happens to so many of us, like, God, I feel like it's more common than it is to not be, impacted in that way. But when you understand that inner child got locked in that moment and that became the operating system, and when you can truly unload that piece, you get to move and cycle through so many pieces of hardship, trauma, whatever you want to call it in your life. I'm telling you, there's just so much freedom on the other side of those conversations. And really the crux of what we're trying to do here is to get people to work on their stuff, because when you pay attention to you, we get the best version of you. And when you're healthy and when you feel good, people don't have to deal with your shit. You get this? Like, this is how you heal the world. You work on yourself. That's it. That doesn't mean you're selfish. It means that you meet your basic needs: rest, food, water, movement, love, laughter, connection. Taking care of your body when it doesn't feel good. This is how you lead a truly successful life. Because when you are in alignment with yourself, things just start to happen. I had dinner last night with a friend of mine. She just completed a journey to Spirit Quest based on some things from her past that she wanted to sort out so that we could all start getting the best version of her. And last night we had dinner. And I mean to tell you, it was one of the most magical dinners. Her husband texted me after, and he said, I felt high from the energy at that table all night long. And that's the thing, man. Do you want to feel that? Do you want to be in a conversation with people where you're buzzing, like your energy, your frequencies are so high because of the level of love and consideration and compassion and empathy and all the things that are taking place between those two people? That's possible. It's not only possible, it's your birthright. It's what you should, like I said a few minutes ago, wake up every day and think about. How can I serve my soul today? And listen, people have a tough time with that, because I know for myself, if you grow up, especially in a lot of religions, right, where they talk about, it's not about you, it's about the other person. That's true. It isn't untrue to be, selfless and to let other people have opportunity and to give, and to, all those things are great and they're fair, but they don't come at your expense. You see? Just because you have to make everybody else around you happy doesn't mean that you don't get to make yourself happy. Make sense? That's the part that you really got to start to lock into, is that you can be an unbelievably loving, caring, giving, selfless human being, but not at your own expense. Start to make yourself happy. Start to get in alignment with yourself. See what starts to happen in your life. So many cool things are going to happen. I'm telling you. And the universe is going to work in a way that it just blows your mind. And I'll give you a perfect example of this. Saturday morning, I was on a conversation. I was on a phone call with one of my longtime friends. And, long story short, he had said something that kind of irritated me and bumped into my stuff. And I didn't like the way it felt. And I kind of called him on it because, we have a long relationship. And that's fair to do to people you've been around for 30 years more. I kind of called him on it. And it made for a few tense moments. And then, we eventually made it fine and we hung up the phone and it was okay. But, you're still left with that feeling of like, I didn't really like that. And then lo and behold, 20 minutes later, I get a text message from this woman, Tammy Anderson Ward. And Tammy says, I got your speaker application and I'd love to talk to you about what I'm doing in June. So I called Tammy back. And Tammy puts on the world's largest energy healing conference in the world. The world's largest in-person energy healing conference in the world. Something like 3,000 people gather in Ogden, Utah, which is just north of Salt Lake City, Utah, for 3 days. It's vendors, it's speakers, it's healers, it's psychologists, it's psychiatrists, it's inner child work, it's qigong, it's massage, it's all of the things. It's all the non-traditional therapies, if you will, that are getting together for an energy healing conference. And she wants me to close up the conference. She wants me to be the closing keynote to these 3 magical days for people. And I'm insanely honored. I just can't wait. I can't wait to get in front of those folks and energize them in a way. I mean, you think about what's going to happen now, right? We're going to be there for those 3 days. You're going to be seeing and touching and tasting so many incredible things. You're going to be so motivated to want to put this stuff into practice. And then I'm going to come in that Saturday night at 6:00. And by 7:00 that night, I'm going to have you thinking about what's been running your life, how you're going to own it, and then what you're going to do to lean into being a transitional character in your lineage so that you can be the one that takes your family out of dysfunction once and for all. It's going to be amazing. And if you can make it out to Salt Lake City, Utah, June 23rd, 24th, 25th for this conference, I think you should do it. I looked at the ticket prices. They're very fair, like $100 and something bucks. And I also looked how much it is to stay in a hotel in Ogden. It's about $120 a night. And from Phoenix, we were able to fly on Southwest points, 15,000 points. That's it. So it's not going to cost but just a few $100 to go up and have this experience. And if you can do that, I certainly hope that you'll join us. I think it's just going to be really incredible. So that's what we've been up to. And this week, just so you kind of know what's going on, I'm in Massachusetts visiting with my best friend, the one that I mentioned a minute ago that we had a little spat with. But, we're cool now. And we're hanging out together in Massachusetts, which is going to be a great week. We will have our Wednesday live stream it'll be 4 p.m. Arizona time. That'll be 7:00 for me in Massachusetts, but I'm looking forward to that. We're going to have this guy, Dr. Briselli, on, and he does this modality called TRE. And the reason that's interesting for you, me, and a lot of people is especially if you had any sort of sexual trauma in your past. I should just say trauma in general, but specifically sexual trauma. A lot of us seem to hold that in our hips and our pelvis, and that stuff gets really locked in there. And we have a psoas muscle, which runs up the front of our body, which is the muscle responsible for lifting our leg when we walk. And it's a really deep muscle, and a lot of trauma gets stored in that muscle. And so he has a modality that it stretches the psoas as to release those emotions, and it is really incredible. People are seeing insane results, from this, because here's the thing, right? If you're like me and you've tried medication, you've tried talk therapy, there's probably a better chance that you need a spiritual kind of movement. You need some shift in the way that you're thinking and feeling. There's like, that's what's missing for you, you know? You have your good tools and maybe you use some meds, and so that keeps you in one place. But if you're still fighting through some other situations, I just, look into some of these non-traditional therapies that we always talk about on the show because they're so beneficial, especially something like TRE. So that'll be on Wednesday. And then what's that? I think that's about it. So appreciate you guys. I really want to say that I'm so serious. I can't believe we made it to 10,500 downloads as of the time that I'm recording this podcast, which is just magical to me and really, really special, because it means that I get to keep doing this with work, right? That's why I walked away from the situation that I was in, because I wanted to do this. I really want to do this, help people share their stories so they can connect to other people, help them feel less alone, encourage them to talk about it. That's what Learn from People Who Lived It is all about. So, new podcast coming in a couple of weeks. You'll get some episodes here and there. I'm actually going to release an episode just yesterday I did with Teresa, and I really encourage you to go check that out because she's one of those people doing emotion code work, which is getting rid of the emotions that are trapped inside of us, and that's a really, really cool conversation. So, till then, peace and love. Thank you for the follows. Please subscribe to the show. If you feel like leaving a 5-star review, I won't be mad at you at all. Goodbye.